Hey y'all, I'm Carolina Tony. Thank you for stopping by my channel. Today the road brings me to the Outer Banks, North Carolina. Outer Banks, series of barrier islands protecting the North Carolina coast, and a lot of neat things here, and we're going to spend the next few days exploring, and you get to come along. But right after this station, identification. What we are looking at over there is what is known as the Outer Banks Barrier Islands, also known as OBX. Well, we just crossed over a portion of Pamplico Sound. Actually, right here is where we're at now. We are officially on the Outer Banks. As you can see, these barrier islands, there are lots of them, and some of them you have to take a ferry to get across, and we'll be doing that later today. This is called Jockey Ridge. It's the tallest sand dune on the east coast of the United States, between 80 and 100 feet above sea level. And we are right here on the ocean. It's right across the road, not very far. This is the Cape Hatteras National Seashore. Some awesome sand dunes. This is the Body Island Light Station. Now, I would have said Bodie, but I asked the ranger and they said Body. And this particular lighthouse is approximately 1/2 mile from the edge of the ocean. But anybody that knows anything about the coast off of the Outer Banks, and we're pretty close to Cape Hatteras, which, by the way, is very hazardous because there are more shipwrecks off the coast here than probably anywhere. A camping area. Now it looks like we're leaving Bodie Island and headed over to another island. We are on P Island. This is the famous Cape Hatteras Lighthouse. There are copies of this lighthouse, a lot smaller version, all over North Carolina. This is not the original location. It has actually been moved to get it farther away from the water. And of course, because of COVID, and because it's now almost winter time, you can't go up in it. This is where she sits now, atop this little small knoll. And this was the path that was taken from the original site, which is that way. This would have been the lightkeeper's house, and perhaps that was office space or barracks of some type. These stones are part of the original foundation that the lighthouse sat on, and it has the lighthouse keeper's name engraved on them. Let's see how far they go back. 1849, 1843, 1821. I bet these things go on. 1803, first lighthouse keeper was Adam Gaskins. 1809, Joseph Farrow. Outer Banks, during certain months they let you drive right out onto the sand dunes and fish. And these people that are out here this morning, they are serious. There are a lot of rod and reels. They come to stay. Now, I really can't pronounce this. I'll try. I give up. Anyway, it was a life-saving station from 1874 to 1954. In 1918, a German U-boat sunk a British tanker right off the coast here. And the guys that were stationed here at this life-saving station managed to save all of them. U.S. Coast Guard. some of the men that helped Wilbur and Orville Wright, they worked at life-saving stations. Here on the Outer Banks, there were a lot of shipwrecks, and these guys stayed pretty busy. This is the 1892 cookhouse. Let's see if we can get inside. Here's another house. Let's see what it is. Love the architecture and woodwork. This is the original station from 1874, and then after 1919 it became just the boathouse. This life car or buoy was sent to a shipwreck, and the men or women that were in distress would climb into the car, and it could be into the hatch. The men or women that were in distress would crawl into the buoy and close the hatch, and that way waves couldn't get inside and be pulled to shore. This is called a drill cart. Would be pulled by hand to the beach, and the whip line, which are spools of rope, would be pulled out to the wreck, where men on the shore could pull the survivors safely to shore. In the early 1900s, there wasn't water lines that run out on the Outer Banks, so they had to rely on rainwater. It was saved through the gutters and stored in a little water tank like that, unlike today where they have water towers. Got off the ferry from Hatteras. We are now on the island of Ocracoke, or Okeechobee, I'm not sure, but the only way you can get here is by a boat or a plane. This is a little narrow strip of land, and look, right on the other side of those sand dunes is the Atlantic Ocean, and right over there is the Pamplico Sound. These horses are descendants from Spanish horses from 1739 that were stranded from Spanish shipwrecks. In 1959, they were herded up and put into corrals for their own protection. The Ocracoke horses used to roam free here on Ocracoke Island. I had read that the Boy Scout troop here on Ocracoke at one time was the only mounted Boy Scout troop in the United States. Ocracoke Lighthouse at the tip of the island, and there's the lighthouse keeper's house. In memory of the HMT Bedfordshire and its crew destroyed by torpedo from German submarine U-558, May 1942. And they've named all the officers and the seamen that was aboard the ship. The Bedfordshire was an Arctic trawler built in 1935 in Middenboro, England. And this is actually the cemetery where those sailors are buried. These grave sites contain the bodies of 4 British seamen. Their ship, the armed trawler HMS Bedfordshire, was on loan to our Navy by Great Britain to help protect our shores during the early days of World War II. On May the 11th, 1942, the Bedfordshire was torpedoed and sunk by a German sub. All hands were lost, and these 4 were the only bodies that was recovered. In 1840, more than 400 people lived at Ocracoke, and as many as 1,400 ships passed through the inlet here. Still very treacherous waters. This is the remains of a ship that didn't quite make it. There's a ferry over there. I'll catch a ride back to the mainland shortly. This is one of the old historic houses here. Something I find pretty neat. It's called a cistern because in the early 1800s, 1900s, there wasn't piped water to the island, so they had to rely on rain. And rain was collected through wooden gutters and drained into the cistern through a hole on the top. Sent by Governor Spotswood in a boat, a sloop called the Ranger, killed the famous and dreaded Blackbeard the pirate, Edward Teach, also known as Blackbeard, in 1718, right off the coast. They're not really sure where Blackbeard is buried. They think perhaps Bahamas or maybe Grand Cayman. We have come to the end of our journey. I am fixing to get on a ferry and head over to the mainland, and that is going to end our journey to the Outer Banks Seashore. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to go down below. Give me a thumbs up. Be sure to comment. Let me know what you're thinking. Be sure to tell your family and friends. And oh, if you hadn't subscribed yet, please do. And click that bell so you won't miss any videos I put out. But until next time, y'all have a good day.